Don't. Please don't. Please don't. Squeak, you don't know. Hi. I'm so empty in my brain. And you're in the shot. And I don't know. Question numero cuatro concerns what I think of Uchu Sentai Q Ranger. I really like what I've seen so far. I'm really excited. I mean, the show appears to be starting with an actual Orange Ranger, a Scorpion no less. And the show seems like it's going to start with 9 Rangers in the starting lineup. I love seasons that have a whole bunch of Power Rangers, so I'm really excited about that. The suits look really good. I love the unbalanced visors. The Zords, what little we've seen of them, look really good. I am on board so far. And the 5th question, in order to learn about the future, we must also learn about the present. So what do I think of the current Sentai Zyuohger? It's not a series that's grabbed me. Like I said, I'm pretty far behind on it. But what I've seen of it so far, I've liked well enough. I actually really like the suits. They've really grown on me. And the cube gimmick, it's a little weird, but they find ways to make it work. You know, to be honest, I really think I would be happy with either one of these series becoming Power Rangers. Rick Ray has 3 questions for me. The first question was if I could rank all of the side villains in Dino Charge. I think I'm going to save that for the summary video, but I will say that my favorite was Fury, with Snide a close second. Question number 2. Do I think that Nick is the reason that Power Rangers has been rather bad lately? I don't personally think that Power Rangers has been all that bad lately, but I do think that the way that Nick schedules and airs their shows creates some unique challenges that Power Rangers has never had to deal with before. And thirdly, do I think that Keeper was the true main villain of Dino Charge, considering the fact that he killed the dinosaurs and screwed up the timeline? No, I don't actually think that Keeper was a villain, although I also don't think the show addressed quite enough the fact that Keeper was responsible for the extinction of the dinosaurs. His driving motivation in gathering the 10 Energems should have been what actually ended up happening, preventing the extinction of the dinosaurs, finally making things right. Wrestling sucks, no DQ rules is a viewer that has discussed wrestling with me in the comments of several videos, but wants to hear me say in a video why I'm not going to review wrestling. He also asked me if I saw Goldberg in the WCW when I was growing up. The plain and simple reason that I do not want to review wrestling is that I'm not into it anymore, and I'm sorry, but I don't want to get back into it. When I review something, I want to throw myself into it. I want to know the property back to front, be able to spout off any fact that I need for it. I'm just not that interested in wrestling. I am sorry. I do remember seeing Goldberg wrestling when I was growing up, though. Our man, not your man, our man, Nair, has a 4-pack of questions for me ready to go. Are you still upset that they aren't doing ToQger for Power Rangers? Yes, I've already answered that. Moving right along. How do you feel about Power Rangers Ninja Steel? Cautiously optimistic? I actually just recently reached the point where I started getting excited about a new season of Power Rangers. However, Ninja was a bad Sentai with plenty of flaws, so I'm really hopeful that Ninja Steel can iron those out. What are my thoughts on the upcoming Power Rangers movie? So far, so good. I've liked everything that I've seen so far, mainly because unlike a lot of really loud people, I can remember that this is a reboot film that's doing its own thing, as opposed to 2 hours of the 1993 TV show on the big screen. Not even the first Power Rangers movie did that. The Megazord looks good. The Rangers look great. Alpha 5 looks kind of weird, but I'm okay with that. I'm still on board. Will we ever get a real Orange Ranger, especially if they adapt Zyuohger? Well, the odds of that are a lot better now that it's been revealed that Q Ranger has an Orange Ranger in its starting lineup. However, the interesting thing about this is that we might still not get an Orange Ranger if they choose to adapt Zyuohger. The Orange Ranger comes in right at the end of the story, right about where Death Ryuger came in for Kyo Ryuger, and we didn't get him, as we all know. I'm just not sure that there's going to be enough footage of the Orange Ranger to say that he would absolutely have to be part of a Power Rangers adaptation. Niklas Zand, who is now STVS TDP, established 2001, and still probably kind of annoyed that I can never quite pronounce his name, also has a 4-pack of questions for me. Man, are you guys finding these things at Costco? Sam's Club, 4 packs of questions, 50% off, wholesale, ring it up. Number 1, does continuity matter in Power Rangers? I absolutely think it does. I love one continuous story where the torch passes from team to team, year after year, and the story continues to grow. What are my thoughts on Avatar: The Last Airbender? I don't remember if that's the movie or the cartoon, but I didn't watch either of them. I heard the cartoon was really, really good. I heard the movie was absolute garbage. What do I think of Go Animate nowadays? I had absolutely no idea what that was. Looks like it's some kind of animation website. So I think it's good that it's some kind of animation website. Did you know that I'm making a Skullman movie? Or, I mean, did I know that he's making a Skullman movie? No? Best of luck with it! Not a lot of people are aware of this, but after the ship was decommissioned, Voyager's database, which was self-aware due to bioneural gel packs, received its own world to grow on. And believe it or not, that world has a question for me. World of Voyager's database asked if I think Ninja Steel will live up to the hype? Is Ninja Steel getting a lot of hype? Seriously, I don't hear it talked about very much. The reviews of the Megazord toys have been iffy at best as far as their look. I mean, I'm hopeful that Ninja Steel will be good, but the Sentai doesn't give it a lot to work with. None other than Trekker Prize has my next question. He'd like to know what I think about the recent Star Trek Discovery first cast announcement, and what my thoughts are on the show so far. For those of you who are unaware, Trekker Prize is the official graphics provider of OrangeRangerVideos. Seriously, he just threw me together a fantastic set of holiday-themed channel art that I'm using right now. He's also got his own fantastic channel where he talks mainly about Star Trek, but also other geeky things as well. And he has officially joined the reviewer ranks as he started reviewing Star Trek the Animated Series. And I can tell you, I'm going to watch the crud out of those videos because I've never seen the animated series and I'm very curious about it. That being said, Gary, on to your questions. I really liked the cast announcements that were recently made. I've heard great things about Michelle Yeoh, and it'll be wonderful to have another female captain on Star Trek, even if she's not the focus of the program. And Anthony Rapp is a fantastic addition. I'm actually not sure if I've ever mentioned this on the show, but I am a huge fan of the musical Rent, in which Anthony Rapp played Mark, as well as in the movie version. While a gay space fungus expert kind of sounds like a quirky character, I'm sure that he's going to handle it well. Personally, I don't know all that much about Doug Jones, though I am always excited to hear about a new alien species in Star Trek. Though if this series is set pre-Kirk, I'm kind of wondering about a new alien species being in Starfleet when we don't see them at any time afterwards. But overall, these all seem like great choices, and kind of like Ninja Steel, I'm cautiously optimistic for Star Trek Discovery. RMake21 tossed in another last-minute question that was also Star Trek related, asking my thoughts on Star Trek Axanar, the fan film, and Paramount's treatment of them and fan films in general. What I've seen of Star Trek Axanar, mainly the trailers, I was actually really excited about, I really liked, and I was looking forward to seeing the completed film. That makes Paramount's threatened lawsuit and the subsequent release of their incredibly restrictive fan film guidelines for Star Trek very unfortunate. A well-made fan film can actually increase interest in the core franchise. As long as the producers of the film are not unduly profiting from the copyrighted material, Paramount should be working with these people in order to make sure both the mainline material and the fan films are the best that they can be. Okay, if the 4 packs of questions are sold over at the bulk store, you must have to order the 7-pack online. That must be what Chris Rolfe did, and he tossed them my way. Question 1. Why did you stop doing channel shoutouts? Well, to be technical, channel shoutouts are only done during the off-season and hiatus videos. Now, for a little while, I was doing featured comments during the episode reviews, but to be honest, that was making them feel a little bit too much like the off-season and hiatus videos. Episode reviews are already special enough because they're episode reviews. Your last episode of Almost Interesting was the first episode of Power Rangers Super Megaforce. Why did you shift your focus to only talking about Power Rangers? Well, first of all, there are actually 22 episodes of Almost Interesting after that one, so hopefully you'll go back and give those a watch. But as for why I stopped doing Almost Interesting, I kind of talked about it before. My life stopped being even almost interesting. I was kind of in between jobs for a while, not really doing much, just being around the house. Like I said before, a vlog needs to be interesting enough for me to want to present it to you and for you to watch it. Now, the Power Rangers videos, on the other hand, those got great views and great comments and good likes almost from the word go. So knowing that so many people are engaged in this series has really kept me motivated in doing it above any of the others I've done. Why do you keep referencing Super Sentai if you refuse to review the show? Because I like it, and it has connections to Power Rangers, but reviewing a weekly show that hardly ever takes a single week off is kind of asking a lot right now. Along that same vein, if you hate Ninja so much, why are you even going to bother reviewing Ninja Steel? That's because, and I hope you're sitting down while you're watching this, because this might come as something of a mind-blowing revelation. Power Rangers and Super Sentai are not the same show. They have different storylines, they have different characters. You can even take a look at a season of Power Rangers that was a carbon copy of its Sentai, Samurai, and there are still significant differences from Shinkenger. So I'm holding out hopes that those differences are going to lead to a better show. But even if they don't, I review Power Rangers. It's what I do, and a lot of people on YouTube and across the internet actually want to know what I think about it. So I'm going to review Ninja Steel even if it is bad. Take a look at Super Megaforce, the first season I reviewed. Number 5, are you going to do more Orange Ranger Reacts videos? You might want to keep your eyes open. I have this funny feeling that something that you're looking for is coming down the pike if it hasn't come out already. Really soon. Something, just keep watching. Questions 6 and 7 were stuff I answered earlier in the video from other people. Gas pedal moving forward! This next set of questions comes from Facebook, but the first one actually slips in another YouTube question. Cheeky! Sharon Lapine asked me my opinion on the Kamen Rider series and what my favorite is. And then SpideyView on YouTube actually slipped in a question just right at the end of writing, asking also what my favorite Kamen Rider is. In case I haven't mentioned it before, I love Kamen Rider. I've been watching it ever since Kamen Rider Dino, and my favorite is actually the next series, Kamen Rider Kiba. I just love that Victorian Gothic style theming, especially in the stained glass styling of the enemy Fangeir. And Kiba himself is just such a good looking rider with the red, yellow, and black and the vampire bat type style. And the show was just so well written, perfectly balancing that 2 timeline thing, that I was actually really hesitant about going in. Jolly old St. Nicholas Ellis would like to know my thoughts on the Boom MMPR Annual Number 1, where, spoilers if you haven't read it, 3, 2, 1... In an alternate story, Bulk and Skull are chosen by Zordon to become Power Rangers, especially the fact that Skull is chosen to be the Orange Ranger. I would love to tell you guys what I thought about that comic, but I haven't read it yet. Add the Boom MMPR comics to the list of things that I am terribly behind on. And before any of you says it, yes, I know that I can read the comics online through back channels. but I'm not going to. I love this series, I want to support this series, and I want to support it financially with sales of the comic in the stores. So I'm not going to be reading or reviewing this comic until I can actually get them in my hands. As to the question itself, it's certainly, it's interesting that Bulk and Skull become Power Rangers, especially that Skull becomes an Orange Ranger. But I will happily support the creation of any new Orange Ranger and welcome Skull into the fold of Orange Rangers. And I'm looking forward to the cosplays. To be honest with you, I've always had this plan when I was finally able to start cosplaying myself to do a Mighty Morphin Orange Ranger, either by just picking a dinosaur for the helmet to be shaped as, or just not wearing a helmet at all. Now, I have something that I can specifically cosplay. J.C. Calloway, who some of you may know as Dragon Zeron, founder of the Tokusatsu News Network, wants to know if I've ever considered having guests on the show, and also what I think of Kamen Rider Ghost. Well, actually, I've already had a guest on the show, Mr. Trekker Prize himself, Gary, but I'm definitely open to having other guests on the show, and I'm just as open to being a guest on other shows. I almost fell off my chair while watching a recent episode of the Ranger Wrap-Up on that hashtag show when Joe called me another popular Power Rangers YouTuber. I don't know if I'm all that popular yet, but it was really nice to hear, and I would like the channel to continue to grow. Collaboration is one of the key factors in growing on YouTube. So feel absolutely free to contact me at the email on my channel page if you're interested in being a guest on the show, or if you are interested in having me as a guest on your show. I would ask in either case that you have a show of your own on YouTube that is doing fairly well, somewhat equal. This is about collaboration. This is about equal signal boosting, bringing each other up. Also, feel free to suggest me to your favorite YouTubers if you feel like I would be a good fit for a guest spot on their show. As for Ghost, as I've mentioned multiple times, I am behind on it, but I did recently watch another chunk of episodes, and I'm really enjoying Ghost, actually. It's really fun with the icon system changing powers around from writer to writer and just swapping out all kinds of different powers, and I really like having a triple threat team of Ghost, Spectre, and Necrom. Oh, and by the way, Arya is really pretty, and I might have a little bit of a Toku crush. Speaking of folks who have created Ranger things on the interweb nets, Dustin Stewart Lambert is the creator of the Power Rangers / Super Sentai fan questions group, and you should check that out over on the Facebook deal. He wants to know my top 3 and my bottom 3 Power Rangers and Super Sentai seasons, what they are, what they actually are. Well, for the Power Rangers seasons, I'm going to have to point you on over to the 2 videos I did where I ranked every single season of Power Rangers. The opinions stated in those videos have not changed, as I can officially announce the Dino Charge did not crack the top 3 or the bottom 3. Now, as for Sentai, I would say my 3 favorite Sentai seasons are, in no particular order, Gokaiger, Shinkenger, and Geki Ranger. My 3 worst, well, obviously Ninja is my all-time worst, absolute bottom-of-the-barrel Sentai. After that, I would say that Goseiger never really grabbed me as a season. And third, this is tough. Third, I'm going to have to say what I've seen of Zyuohger so far. That's not really an insult. I'm kind of a forgiving critic when it comes to Sentai and Power Rangers. It's just where things kind of balance out at the moment. Alwendo Zhang, and that's a guess, sorry, yell at me in the group if I got it wrong, wants to know what I think about us not getting the Talon Ranger in Dino Charge. Very disappointed. I was hoping that they would work Death Ryuger into the show somehow, especially with Heckle and the Dark Energem and all those hints we got. But apparently it was never actually going to happen. Yoshi Sudarso, who played Koda, was a guest on that Ranger Wrap-Up show that I mentioned, and he said that they were never actually intending to use Death Ryuger in the show. The name Talon Ranger that's in the Morpher toy actually was an early name for the Silver Ranger. Death Ryuger was never planned to be a part of Dino Charge. That's a real shame. I really wish they could have worked him in, but we did get the Spinozord at least, right? He'd also like to know my expectations for the 2017 Power Rangers movie. As I said above, I'm looking forward to it. And finally, he'd like to know my least favorite Power Rangers villain. Now, I did make a video where I ranked all the Power Rangers main villains, but I feel strongly enough about this one to answer the question here anyway. It is easily Divatox. Whiny, petulant, overstepping her bounds, always setting her bombs for a friggin' hour, and she was the one that defeated the Power Rangers. Ugh. Now we've got a couple of questions from the Tweetar. The first one comes from I Pawn Your Face. Yes, I see what it's actually supposed to be, especially because of the @ title. And no, I'm not reading that on my show. Anyway, they would like to know what I think about the possibility of Rita's staff in the movie containing the green power coin. I mean, to me, it's not even really a possibility, especially based on this picture of Rita that we got during her takeover of the movie's Twitter account. Based on what we've seen of the other power coins, that is the green power coin. Her armor is green and gold, reminiscent of the Green Ranger, and the fact that we've seen at least one shot of her on set not wearing green suggests that she channels the powers of the green coin somehow. I think that's an interesting wrinkle in the story. And the final question of this Q&A comes from, well, I thought it was Sean Sadry 2000, but it turns out it's just Godzilla. They want to know if I would ever consider doing a Kamen Rider Top 10, and what my favorite movie was this year. Kamen Rider Top 10, huh? I'll think about it for the off-season. As for my favorite movie this year, I definitely have to go with Captain America Civil War, with Star Trek Beyond a very close second. 2016 was actually a good year for fandom films. That is going to do it for all of the questions, and thank you guys so much for all the submissions. I think this was the most that I've ever gotten, actually. And we opened it up to Facebook and Twitter this time. We had questions from all three, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, so I really appreciate that. Coming up next week, we have our final episode of Dino SuperCharge. We're wrapping up that season. And funny enough, we wrap up this season with a time that's usually saved for unwrapping, Christmas. Let's see what's coming up in the 22nd and final episode of Dino SuperCharge. Here comes HEXIMAS. The Rangers are surprised when they find mysterious Secret Santa gifts that put them under the spell of HEXIMAS, an evil monster who plans to send everyone a cursed lump of coal on Christmas so he can control Earth. That is going to wrap up another Orange Ranger Q&A, and as always, it was a lot of fun to do. Thank you one more time for all the submissions. This was really great. Make sure you like the video by clicking that like button right down below. You can leave some questions if you didn't get them in time for the video in the comments below. I'll make sure to answer those. And subscribe to the channel for all the weekly geekly. Also make sure to ring that bell to make sure you're getting your notifications. And if you happen to have a couple of dollars laying around that you don't have anything else to do with, head over to my channel page and click that blue support button, and I would really appreciate it. Until next time, may the power protect you. Okay, come on. I was going to have you in the shot, but if you're going to bathe yourself, you have to do that. Or you. Don't. Everything about you except that you're cute. Seriously, he just threw me together another fantastic set of channel art that I'm using right now to celebrate the holidays, and I don't remember the rest of this take because cats go meow and I hate life. Don't. A carbon copy of its Sentai, like Samurai, for example. There are significant differences from its Sentai. I'm gonna do that again. It has significant differences from Shinkenger. I'm hopeful that, farts. But I happily welcome any Orange Ranger that is created into the fold. And now I have and that Skull specifically becomes an Orange Ranger, but I happily welcome any new farts. Especially that Skull becomes an Orange Ranger, but I happily welcome the creation of and especially that Skull becomes an Orange Ranger, but I will happily fart. But I would love to have other guests on the show, and actually I'm just as open to being a guest on other shows. Sure I am. Dustin Stewart Lambert is the creator of the Power Rangers Super Sentai fan questions group on Facebook, and I think it's Super Sentai Power Rangers. As for Sentai, I would say my 3 favorite Sentai seasons in no particular order are Gokaiger, Shinkenger, and the other one. Alwendo Zhang, and that's a guess, asked how I feel. I don't feel great right now, to be honest. I mean, to me, it's not even really a possibility.